Hi, Phyllis here from southernfrugal.com. We're getting ready to make a Spam casserole, and this is my go-to casserole if we're going to have a really busy day, and that's the way today's going to be. So here are the ingredients: 2 potatoes, 1 medium onion, and of course a can of Spam, a can of cream of mushroom soup, and 1 cup of sharp cheddar cheese shredded. Alright, I'm going to get all this ready and we'll be right back. Alright, we are ready to assemble this Spam casserole. And what I'm going to do is mix 1 can of the cream of mushroom soup with a 1/2 cup of water. I'm just going to dump this out. And just add my 1/2 cup water to that. And just mix that up a little bit, just enough to get the soup sort of broken up. Let me get that up where you can see. There we go. Just mix that up with your fork and just get it mixed up a little bit. Alright, so now we're ready to assemble. Spam cut up in little squares, the potatoes cut up in small squares, and the onion cut up small. I'm just going to dump all that in to my casserole. I don't do many casseroles, but this one is pretty good, and it's pretty easy to get all the ingredients mixed in. Now I'm going to go ahead and mix in 3/4 of a cup of this is shredded sharp cheddar cheese, 1 cup. So I'm going to save back a little bit of it just to sprinkle over the top. So I'm just going to mix that in. Now you're going to cook this for 45 minutes to an hour, and that will cook your potatoes and cook the onions and whatever. Just mix that up so you've got it thoroughly mixed and everything's sort of evenly distributed. Alright, that's all there is to it. Now, you don't want to add any additional salt, and the reason is because if you've ever used Spam before, you know it's very salty. And of course the Campbell's cream of mushroom soup is pretty salty too. Alright, so now I've somewhat got that mixed up. I'm just going to pour that over it. And just make sure everything's covered. Mix it up a little bit. Alright, that should do it. I'm just going to sprinkle the remainder of the cheese right on top. Spread it out a little bit. Now this is a great quick meal, and I used to fix this meal when I was working before I retired. We would have this sometimes maybe twice a month. And for some reason, everybody in the family liked it better than I did. And my husband absolutely loves it. So I tried fixing it one time with some leftover ham. You know, we had like a baked ham. And I liked that better, but no one else even knew the difference, you know. So anyway, there it is. We're going to put that in the oven for 45 minutes to an hour. Everything should be thoroughly cooked by then, and we'll be back. Alright, with our Spam casserole, we're going to have a little bit of cornbread. Now, I'm just going to show you how I make this, because I'm just making a small little pan of cornbread. That's a small casserole dish. I'm going to use 1 egg. And I want to use whole buttermilk. And get a whisk out of here to beat this up. Couple of little tablespoons of oil. This is just vegetable oil. Help make it more moist. I'm going to put in a little bit of sugar to sweeten it up. That's probably a tablespoon and a half of just plain sugar. Mix all that up. And now I'm going to pour my whole buttermilk in. Just regular whole buttermilk. And this is going to determine how much cornbread I make. So that's added in just maybe a cup of buttermilk. Mix that up really good. Now, if you put your cornmeal in first, it'll, the dry will be all stuck on the bottom. It'll be a lot harder to mix it up. So you want to put your wet ingredients in first. Now, to me, this is the best cornmeal on the market. It's House of Autry white self-rising cornmeal. And I think I did a video before on the cornbread. So I'm just going to pour this in. It's probably 3/4 of a cup. And then I'm going to see if I need to add a little more in. And I do, just a little bit more. So maybe not quite a cup. Now most cornbread that you make, it's better if after you mix it up, you just leave it sitting for a little while before you put it in the oven and let that cornmeal soak up some of the liquid. So just mix that thoroughly. I might need just a little more cornmeal. But you can tell, by the thickness of it. Because you really want it to maybe look like thin cake batter, really. See, it's pretty thin. And what this will do is it's going to make a very moist cornbread. Now, I've got the Spam casserole already in the oven, and it's baking at 350 degrees for 45 minutes to an hour. Now, I want all of this meal ready at one time, so I'm going to do a compromise. I'm going to turn the oven up to 375, and I'm going to go ahead and cook my cornbread in there at the same time. Now, cornbread generally needs to cook at about 425 degrees. So we're just going to compromise on that. Now, the other thing we're going to have, this is frozen cabbage. Now, I do this for convenience, because when you cook fresh cabbage, it probably takes 30 minutes of steaming it. Unless you cook it in the pressure cooker, and then you can do it in like 3 minutes. But I buy my the cabbage in bulk, and I make some sauerkraut, and then because cabbage won't keep here in the summertime, not that much. I don't remember how many heads I bought in that box. Probably about 12, I'm guessing now, but maybe about 12. So what I did was I just pre-cooked it all, except for what I used in the sauerkraut. So I cooked it to almost done, which was maybe 20 minutes, and then I froze it. And interestingly enough, it turns out great. It's not completely 100% cooked, but by the time you thaw it out, now I thaw it out in the microwave on defrost, and then I just put it in a pot and season it with salt, maybe a little butter. Now, anything you freeze like this, you don't ever want to salt it or pre-season it, because it will just get saltier, while it's in the freezer. You want to wait and season all your greens after you've taken them out of the freezer and getting ready to serve them. All right, so now the cornbread batter has sat here for a little while. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it's gotten just a little bit thicker. So now we're going to go ahead and dump it in the pan. And again, I want all this ready at one time for our lunch. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to compromise on the temperature that the cornbread cooks and up the temperature that the casserole will be cooking at. So I think it'll all turn out. We'll be back when everything's done. All right, we're back, and the Spam casserole is all ready. Got the cornbread. It didn't get as brown on the top as I like, but it'll work. And the steamed cabbage. And we're just going to butter that cornbread and get some iced tea in the glasses, and we're ready to eat. And I hope you'll try this Spam casserole. It's very inexpensive, and everybody likes it, and it just works. So see you next time.